One second. Let me,
Greetings, peasants.
Hello.
oh. All right, there we go. I had to readjust the picture a little bit. Resolution was slightly different.
Ah.
Yeah. Until everybody gets comfortable in their chairs.
Sorry.
Squeak, squeak.
I've been comfortable in my chair for a little bit.
All right. My Little Pony, Season 9, Episodes 24 through 26. The Ending of the End. And the Last Problem. Okay, so...
The ending of the end.
What are we gonna do
the
today?
actual...
What are we gonna do, Twilight?
The same thing we do every time, Pinky. Try to save the world.
You know that was something they always wanted to do, and they never found a good time to do it.
Might as
They
well
just
do it
threw-
right at the end.
They just threw everything at this episode.
The whole season was just if we're gonna go out with a bang. And
Yeah.
Is there
mean,
anything we haven't done that we wanted to do? Oh,
I mean, the whole grandparents Star
Oh
Trek
my God,
reference
yes.
and the
yeah. Oh, do we want to see the...
Star Worlds.
How about a crazy wedding and something do. Sorry for the clip show. Sorry. But anyway, yeah. And seeing the CMC aged up, and that's what they look
properly
like.
aged up.
What?
Oh, you meant before. I thought you meant in the last.
Yeah, I know. I was talking about the season as a whole.
Yeah.
You saw.
Wings
We
are
had a
still
Freaky
small.
Friday. We had. We dealt with the sort of disparity issue, their relationship.
Yep.
It just like, all right, let's just...
Fluttercord finally is canonized.
Let's not forget Twilight 7. That was...
Yes.
That one shot of Luna was, like, the most important part of the episode. It summed up the whole damn thing.
Anyway, but before we get too gushy, which we're going to do anyway, but before we get too gushy, we should probably get started on the proper order of this episodes, and then we can, as we go along, we can gush about what we saw. So, first phase of their plan of the Stooges is to sow distrust among the three pony races to weaken friendship, and thus the support base of Twilight. The first we see is Chrysalis accusing Earth ponies of hoarding food. With their sabotaging of farms, this becomes exceedingly more believable. Which is interesting in that this is sort of... They had for once, the villains had a long-term plan. Sow distrust, lower her base. But Twilight also had a long-term plan that superseded their long-term plan and beat them with that.
I mean, to be fair, they started this long-term plan once they got the bell.
Yeah, but it wasn't a, we're going to try and take over Equestria today. It was, all right, we're going to sow discord, we're going to sow problems, we're going to it was long enough that they could get people to not trust each other, ponies to not trust each other. So it was a long enough term plan. It's probably the longest long game that they've had. I'm probably forgetting about something, but it was one of the longer actual plans, and not a terrible one, but one that they just didn't think through too much, or they thought too much of themselves at that point.
I mean, when you've got that much power at your disposal, it's hard to not get a little cocky.
Yeah, and the other thing was, I have this interesting idea that basically Twilight is an inverted Wendigo. They get stronger and appear when, there's distrust and whatnot, but Twilight gets stronger as more friendship is in the area. More friendship,
Yes,
more
feed
harmony.
me your love.
Yeah, because we saw her, the final taste the rainbow. It was just,
She's
was
Rebel
3
100.
sets of 6.
Rainbow lasers.
yeah.
But
That is a pretty good perk though. It's not all
Glad
about friendship, like rainbow lasers, but yeah, because she looked freaking insane at that end. It's like, oh yes, I have ascended to temporary godhood. Just like,
Give it
and
the rainbow lasers.
yes,
I don't even think she realized she was floating. It was just like she's making a speech like she always does, and then she's like, "Oh, I'm in the air and lasers. Okay, cool."
yeah, it was that was
That's how
seems
that
like
works.
how yeah that seems to be how her power works because that's the most powerful we've ever seen her, and it's uh through the duration of the show up until that point, and it's also at the point where she literally has gathered all these creatures together as friends and in harmony and in friendship and in
Even unvoiced
camaraderie and
characters from
whatnot.
the movie.
And it's just like, whoop, bam, just orbital cannon sort of level stuff.
Yeah.
It's just like, yep, okay, that's my theory on the whole thing. Is
As
she's
Death Battle's Boomstick puts it, this is Dragon Ball Z level shit.
yeah, this is at this point. Yeah, I mean,
She's
was-
over 9,000.
yeah.
That's
I mean, you
all
could
I
make
know
some
about Dragon
arguments
Ball Z.
about the Battle of Tyrek, but she was also absorbing both. She also was augmented with Celestia and Luna at the time, so
And Cadence.
and
So-
cadences. So
And this time it was all her, and it was several times as powerful.
yeah, because before she could blast Tyrek, but this was just like, oh yeah, all three, Chrysalis, Tyrek, and Cozy. I'm gonna drain
All of them
all of you
enhanced.
at once. I'm gonna hit you hard, and I'm gonna drain you all at once. So, yeah,
So you're saying they thought she sucked?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, and all this sort of, but yeah, moving on from that sort of gushing, it does make you wonder what things are like for mixed families like Sugar Belle and Big Mac with like,
Or Bon Bon and Lyra, because
Mhm.
we saw Bon Bon in that scene where
Yeah.
in Ponyville without Lyra, and Lyra was there with the unicorns.
Yeah.
that's kind of sad to think about.
But Sugar Belle was
the-
with Big Mac.
yeah, Sugar
Yeah.
Belle stuck with him.
Yeah,
And
exactly. But
Some stuck with their loved ones and some ran away. So anyway, the Stooges have managed to release the magic stored in Grogar's bell into themselves. The bell can absorb any creature's magic, we find out, so it's kind of redundant for Tyrek, aside from giving him a jump start powerful enough to draw magic from, stronger foes without having to be in a giant form. It's like this allows him to, already.
yeah, I was thinking that. Isn't that basically T-Rex talent anyways?
Yeah, I think the
Kind of, but Tyrek can only absorb it from living beings. He can't do it with
Well, what a non-living being did they absorb from?
The only one was Grogar's old power, but they thought that was Grogar anyways, so...
But in
true.
fact, it was Discord.
Yeah, that
Which, as
reveal...
soon as Discord was revealed, my first thought was he's trying to reform the old villains.
Yeah.
It's funny. I did not see that coming, but at the same time, it kind of made sense.
Yeah.
It does,
And
but
like,
that was the first time My Little Ponies actually surprised me with a reveal.
yeah.
It's like,
Like,
dude.
that was like, wait, what?
He's a good supportive friend, but he's really bad at the execution.
He means
Yeah.
well. Is I think. I think the key phrase is he means well, but
Yeah.
So there was no
As you said,
Grogar
it's a
this
very
whole time.
well-meaning lie.
And an interesting thing is when they absorb his magic, they spend like a good deal of time talking about Discord's chaos magic is beyond them.
Yeah.
But Tyrek didn't have the same problem the first time. I mean, he don't think he used it. I think he kind of basically once it was inside of him, he just kind of converted it to raw magic.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. It's like, wait, T-Rex already eaten Discord's magic.
Yeah, he's had that
Yeah,
before.
I think,
It was also really diluted with the magic of every pony in Equestria.
but not only that, I think as far as that goes, he actually he didn't absorb Discord's he absorbed their essence more. You know, they're like he didn't absorb his power so much as his life force, his essence.
Okay, so
With-
less his abilities to less the flashlight, more the battery is what,
Exactly.
what he took.
This time, they took the flashy stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, they took the flashlight. Yeah, and it's not like it was one thing on. It's also that isn't that Tyrek can't gift magic. He gave back Chrysalis magic when they got the bell. But yeah, it's a slightly redundant, but it's a slightly different. It's a very subtle difference between the two powers. If there's any
Yeah.
difference
Definitely
at
a
all.
lot more potent.
You know, I just love it because he goes like, "Yes, I have all the power." No, take it back.
Yeah, it's like I will
Yeah,
That's
fire
not
over
even the best use
chickens.
of Discord's magic by someone other than Discord.
Although, I mean, Discord did create the pineapples afterwards.
Yeah,
But he
So
meant to
that
do
could
that.
as a
just
test.
that could just be his security system.
If anybody ever steals his magic, it automatically creates
Turns into
bitey
pineapples.
pineapples just because it can.
Yeah,
So yeah,
pineapples.
so we get Cozy the Alicorn.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It's true. Alicorns do have more
Have more
fun.
So
That sounds dirty.
Everyone is preparing for Twilight's upcoming coronation.
yeah, Twilight makes Spike a royal advisor to keep him by her side in an official capacity, which leads to some fun things here because her little exchange with Rarity is really telling for her character. You know, it's like, is that before or after the royal marshmallow eating contest? Eyebrow wiggle. Gown. It's like, you're talking to the marshmallow. You're talking about a marshmallow eating contest? Anyway, if she's standing around, cracking jokes, it's like Twilight doesn't do that when she's nervous. That's not her way of dealing with stress. That's
Yeah.
her relaxed.
Yeah.
I would have laughed if Twilight was like to Rarity. Hey, don't pull a Twilight now.
Careful.
Don't go
Start
Twilighting on me.
twilighting.
Are you wait, Rarity, are you twilighting?
Whatever you mean. I don't twilight. You're joking, aren't you?
Just a skosh. Yeah,
And-
it could all be a duck on water situation. She looks really calm and she's acting really calm outwardly, but she is just churning like crazy underneath the water.
You can see the steam billowing out of her ears.
But for what we can tell from the outwards clues, she looks really calm. But everybody else is on edge or suspicious. Produce Pony tries to sell them rotting potatoes. The thread shop was quite cagey about selling thread. And few Pegasi wanted to help clear the clouds, which, given you have Rainbow Dash, it's, one rain cloud, one rainbow.
I mean, the first time we see her, I could clear those clouds in 10 seconds flat.
Yeah.
And then
What?
prove it.
Exactly. Why didn't she just clear them herself?
Well, it'd be easier to have somebody else do it, but yeah, I mean, it still would have only taken her, 20 or 30 seconds, given Canterlot is a bigger city.
Yeah, exactly.
Only 20 or 30 seconds. And I think she's actually, though, then again, she is probably faster than she was in, in the first episode, given that she can now basically rain boom at will.
Yeah, it's like
Yeah.
half a second of flying and boom.
Yeah, but she used to have to just struggle to boom. Now she just, I want to boom. Boom.
She does it without even thinking.
Yeah.
She got that boom boom
And it's
down.
like, I'm excited. I'm going to fly now. Sonic Rainbow.
So, yeah, the bakers are at each other's throats with sugary ammunition, and the Royal Guard are treating AJ as a
Sweet.
suspicious element.
Sweet ammunition. Crossfire.
So, we get the revelation from a walking Discord that all the major villain problems this season were orchestrated by him to train and build Twilight's confidence with himself as the safety net.
I used that line that he used as he came in at work the other day. Oh, my aching metatarsals. You never realize how useful how hard it is to walk.
How
just snap
convenient
everywhere.
snap travel is.
Mm-hmm.
But, so,
How do you get around when you can't even and just snap your claws and be there in an instant?
I gotta say, Discord is really good at losing his powers. This is like the third time.
It's the best way to keep everything in check. If Discord was always omnipotent, nothing would get done.
yeah.
It's
that-
Deus
Because
Ex
everything would
Machina.
get done.
It's like when the doctor loses his sonic screwdriver, or you have a deadlock seal.
Yeah, it's like you can't. He so immediately makes every problem trivial that you have
Like-
to depower him or distract him or have him doing something else. Otherwise, he immediately nullifies
solve
the whole
every-
situation.
Like with the Summer Sun situation, Rainbow literally said, "But we have a miracle," and then Discord just kind of appears like an angel. A miracle. He can bend reality to his will.
Yeah.
And turn everything in the universe to icing.
His eye.
Oh, that was brilliant.
I can control the cosmos and turn everything into icing.
Jack's like, oh my gosh, that's me.
Well, yeah, that was one of those things that's always, I think it's always kind of floated around in the community as to what would it be like if you ever had Pinky with Discord's powers.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
always
actually
a,
did that
like,
once.
Here's the thing, though. As Pinkie Pie was fighting, I'm pretty sure she already had chaos magic.
Yeah, but not on the tier of Discord.
She's
Yeah.
not,
No.
she doesn't have chaos magic. She is aware that she's a cartoon. She
She
is
has
the
she
embodiment
doesn't have
of Looney Tunes.
Discord magic. She has Deadpool magic.
Yeah.
And she has comic awareness.
Yeah. She's the embodiment of Looney Tunes. And when it comes to Pinky with Discord magic, the comics did that before.
Hmm.
Princess Chaosia.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, but we'll go into that another time.
Yeah. She runs on rule of funny. Is it funny?
Yeah.
Yep. Okay, she can do it.
The Roger Rabbit rule.
Yeah.
You saying you could have slipped out of those cuffs the whole time? No, only when it was funny.
Yeah, only when it would be funny. So Twilight does the sensible things, like, okay, Spike, send a letter to Starswirl, tell him to guard Canterlot. Alert Shining Armor and tell them to prepare in case we fail. Just getting as much stuff ready. And the funny thing about when they gave Cozy the chaos magic, she immediately went to turn on them, but it just does not work. It's like,
I love
like,
that.
I
Yeah.
am more powerful than all of you. Do as I say. And then chickens.
And it's just like completely but they're just like, it's Cozy Glow. What did we expect?
Yeah.
They didn't actually like, what? You turned on us. We're gonna destroy. It's like, it's Cozy Glow. We don't expect any less.
Yeah, we're villains. We're not surprised by this. Are we gonna get all holier than thou on her for turning on us when she thought she had unimaginable power?
Yeah.
We would have all done the same thing. Let's move on.
Yeah. This is a waste of time. We have plans. So Tyrek completely warps the pillars and has their magic for a snack.
Yeah.
Though Stygian is missing, that's interesting.
Wasn't really much of a fighter.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you'd think he would have at least, you might have seen him
Shown
in the
up.
background or doing something.
Maybe strategizing.
Yeah, throwing a rock or two to distract Tyrek.
I mean, he was their tactician back in the day.
Yeah,
Mhm.
distract him for a brief second while the others try and attack. It might have lasted a few more seconds. But
Yeah.
I think that they were jobbing. It's like in the
They really just had to lose just to make the situation more dire.
yeah.
Yeah.
And to also sort of sweep them off the board because, when you start adding up all the allies they have, you have to sort of pick them off. They have to defeat the Stooges would have to defeat Twilight's sort of huge swath of allies in detail. Just take them bit by bit because they couldn't if they ever stand against them as united. There's not much they're going to be able to do. It's going to get a lot worse for them. But anyway, so we get an interesting little responsible Trixie sort of situation. Starlight and Trixie evacuate the students out the tunnels beneath the library in Twilight School. Starlight leaves them to confront Chrysalis and pull the threat away from the students. Which I won't go into exactly when this happened, but it kind of reminds me of this. There was an anime, but it was basically the whole idea was this was a big confrontation with the big bad, and the main character there's this huge, they're fighting around the city, and if they fight there, they're going to kill everybody. So
Yeah.
he's like, I'm just going to kill like he thinks
I'm
he's
going
so
to take
big.
you somewhere where no one will get hurt.
Yeah. So
I mean, that's basically anime fights 101.
yeah. Yeah, but it was so funny because he was so arrogant about the big bad was so arrogant about that he didn't think he could, and he just like grabs him, and the main character grabs him by the face and chucks the both of them. They both fly like a couple miles into the just desolate wasteland, and they just start carving up mountains. It's kind of fun.
Talking about Bleach.
What?
You're talking about Bleach.
Yeah, I didn't want to
Yeah.
spoil it in case somebody hadn't seen it.
Oh, no,
I know it's at this
I've
point.
seen
At
that
this point,
far.
if you haven't seen it, you probably won't. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
anyway,
like saying, spoilers, Darth Vader is Luke Skywalker's father.
it's not that old of a series, but it is at this point probably if you're not going to see it, you're not going to see it.
Yeah.
So Starlight gets a fairly cool fight anyway, and some of the best lines of the entire coolest lines. She ports the two of them to the snowy mountains outside of Starlight's old town, so that there won't be anything to hurt.
And it's a place that Starlight knows extremely well.
Yeah, it's like I know there's nothing out here.
Like so good at distracting.
Yeah.
Starlight is a freaking badass and a sasshole, and she did so well in this finale.
She is so much fun.
I love Starlight.
Yeah.
She's just so sassy.
Yeah. Stay still so I can blast you. Oh yeah, real motivating. You'll pay for that. Put it on my tab.
My tab.
Cool mares don't look at explosions.
Yeah. Yeah. She drops an avalanche on Chrysalis, but it doesn't take, and she gets captured. But she
Yeah.
still had some really cool bits for there, and that was
Oh,
if she's
definitely.
gonna have one kind of final episode bit where she actually gets to be cool,
Yeah, it's
that
like
was a pretty good
that.
way
That
to
was a
send
really
off her
cool thing,
character.
and she's not even done yet.
Yeah, she still does
Yeah.
that. Yeah, that's her last big solo fight, and it's really cool. And so that was a pretty good send off to her character, and it was really cool also to see Trixie. She's really being responsible and evacuating the students,
She's
and she's doing.
She's
She went
living
from
up to that role that
yeah.
was actually a really shocking role when she was given it, but we see why it makes sense now.
she's a great and powerful fit.
Like, I'd great at running away.
Yeah, that's what I'm best at. Is a great and powerful escape. It's like, yeah, okay.
All you need is smoke bombs.
Just
Yep.
watch out for tripping over something on your way out.
Or the smoke bombs not taking fast enough. Or leaving too fast, rather.
Trixie would never carry smoke bombs that don't have exactly the right amount of distraction.
All those
She is a
times you catch
connoisseur
her,
of smoke bombs.
all those times we catch her running away as the smoke bombs fade.
I mean, when you don't have a proper backstage to escape to, then
Yeah.
they're gonna see you.
But anyway, so the Stooges make their way to the throne room. Cozy baits the sisters to expose their power, and she absorbs it into the bell, which the bell runs on odd rules, but okay.
Yeah.
So Twilight takes a different tactic and uses the non-magical beam spam of her friend's abilities to put her on her heels. Dash is whipping her around with flight. Pinky's got a bazooka.
Party bazooka.
Yeah, well, Rarity's holding her up. Fluttershy, fly, my pretties.
Yes, yes. I
Um,
loved that. It made me think of Osgood and the one audio with the Tango Bushis, and she's like, "Fly, my beauties." Osgood. Sorry.
Yeah, which is funny because it's originally from the Wizard of Oz,
I
so
know.
then it's Osgood, and then now we get
Exactly.
this. And then Spike's Dragon Fire, which apparently that's an innate sort of physical attack because it's not affected by the bell. And then
Yeah.
AJ's roping, which is that was nice. Um,
I mean, she's got to do something.
Yeah. Got to put that pony to use somehow.
but anyway,
And then that tag team attack with Rarity and Spike.
Oh yes.
That he, she
And
stands
Spike-
up for him, and then he just like
And
throws in his
Spike's
fire.
fire
to the-
changed color for that.
Yes.
It burned hotter.
Yes. To protect Rarity because of the power of friendship.
Yes, just friendship.
Just friendship.
Yes.
Yes. So it things aren't going well. The rest of the Stooges burst in and commence to destroying the better part of the castle with one big blast. And they intend to beat friendship with fear. Which, right as
I think they're
Turek's about to
doing it
try and
pretty
eat
well.
Twilight, it's like Rarity just throws a rock at him. This is a brilliant thing, because it's like, oh no, physical attack. You can't do anything to me.
Like, she's not quite Twilight level in magic, but Rarity is showing a lot of skill here.
Yeah.
Tom, save today!
Yes.
That would have been a cool thing to do if they'd made the model even just smaller, but it was Tom. But at that point,
It's
the rest
Tom
of the
Jr., obviously.
yeah, they use non-magical means to sort of hold the Stooges off with rocks, but given and so they're both sort of neither is thinking sort of three-dimensionally. They're both sort of one-dimensionally. I'm going to push this way. I'm going to push this way. But they basically say, Twilight, get out of here and come up with a plan.
Fly, you fool!
Yes.
Yeah,
Oh god.
I love the Gandalf reference.
So many
Yes!
references in this
Why,
episode.
you fool?
I know. I'm like, yes,
Fucking Gandalf!
yes.
Let's use them all.
They just literally threw everything plus the kitchen sink at us.
Literally, the kitchen sink. My finger still hurts.
And when things are looking their bleakest, end part 1 of Ending
Yes.
at the End. So, everyone
That
defeated
was
is
the
locked
last
away.
one.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Sorry. I was just saying, I figured that one was the last problem, because the end of the end would kind of make sense for the end. Anyway.
Yeah.
Everyone is defeated. Everyone defeated is locked away using shards from the throne to block their magic. Yeah, it's like, this will even cancel our stuff. Tyrek is sensible, which I thought maybe they would have, tricked them somehow into getting into one of their own cages or something, and that would be how they would stop them. But they were actually smart enough to know not to do that.
They're
Or at least
I
Chrysalis
like how
was.
they did it though.
more
like
competent
how
than
they
you gave them credit for.
I like how they had Discord redeem himself by using his brains, being all
I mean,
clever.
yeah. Even without magic, Discord is still Discord.
Exactly.
Yeah, you don't get to be as old as he is without knowing a few tricks. He's been around a while.
Or just being a flat-out smartass.
Exactly.
Which
A
in
little
his
bit.
case, it was both.
A little bit from
His
column A, a little
special
bit from column
talent
B.
is pissing people off.
And I gotta say, the name that he dropped intrigues me.
Oh, King
The
Vorak.
last episode, and they're still world building.
Yes.
Everyone to see. Okay, we'll get to that in a second. Using shards from the throne to block their magic, Tyrek is sensible and says they should seek out Sparkle immediately. But Chrysalis is on an arrogance high and is like, no, we don't want to do anything tactically smart here. Cozy gets greedy while they're too distracted and tries to wants to draw out the sister's magic. And that starts a big fight. It's like, but you can't. And apparently, once inside the bell, the Alicorn's magic is like entangled with discords. And drawing on one will draw on the other because Tyrek says they can't access it without figuring out chaos magic. So, like.
Which, you don't just figure out chaos. It just happens. And you roll with it.
Well, and it's an interesting thing if they had thought about it. It's an interesting sort of problem for them. Okay, assuming they did, win the day, what are you going to do about the sun and moon?
Yeah.
You have no access to Celestia or Luna's magic because it's stuck in there with discords. You can't give Discord back his magic or he'll mess you up. So, is it just going to be perpetually day?
Honesty was going to be perpetually gray with how much the Wendigos were taking over.
Yeah.
But anyway, Discord baits Tyrek into fighting a shot that he bounces around the room and frees Starlight.
That does make me wonder, though, with how if they can't disentangle it, if the magic between them are all joined together somehow, reversing it, how does that work?
I think it's fine so long as you are returning the magic to its original source. I think that's how it works. As long as it's going back to its original source, it'll disentangle itself. But if you try and take it for yourself, it doesn't have like the correct vessel for it, and it'll just keep entangled.
I don't think it's
But,
ever...
I mean, when it comes to going back to its original source, that doesn't quite hold up because Electric Pinky.
Yeah.
I don't think it was ever mentioned know that it was Tangle. Just T-Rex wanted to wait until he caught Twilight.
Yeah.
Well,
Or
no,
maybe now that I think about it, maybe it's just first in, first out. And so
yeah,
you can't access one until you've accessed the other. And where the heck are you going to put Discord's power in the meanwhile?
yeah, that probably is better because I didn't think about Chaos Pinky, but yeah, you at least have to you have to release his power first, and they would need a vessel at the very least. They would need to release his power first in order to get either way. They'd have to release his power first, and yeah.
Anyway,
So I like this.
Starlight's been freed, and
Yeah. Anyway, I wanted to go over this little bit of dialogue because I think it's really good. I certainly won't tell you after the way you lied to me last time we teamed up, you muscle-bound cretin. This cretin could destroy you before you blink, so choose your words carefully. You're right. Cretin is too polite. How about pathetic centaur who uses magic to compensate for the fact that deep down he's afraid he'll never be enough to please dear old dad, King Vorak? And that's just like, that sends him over the edge. It's like,
yeah.
T-Rex has daddy issues.
Yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, Starlight frees everyone in the five and Spike escape while the rest keep them occupied.
I just love Discord just throwing rocks.
It's like,
yeah,
I
Yeah.
don't have magic. What am I going to do? The rocks. Chuck.
I
Yeah.
can talk and I can throw rocks. What do you expect?
At this point, we get the separation of the pony races. They've gone to Celestia School, Ponyville, and Cloudsdale to sort of save themselves. I guess that's the sort of, you have spots that are heavy in one race or another, and while there are others in that place, maybe except Cloudsdale because the others can't walk on clouds, but like they're all sort of, Ponyville is like, that's the meeting place.
The School of Magic would be a pretty unicorn-only place to begin with.
Yeah.
Just because nobody else has a point to go there.
One
Exactly.
thing to note with the pony that they focused on in Cloudsdale, it looked like a girl, but it was played by Richard Ian Cox. So I was like, are they trying to trans it up here? Because
I don't think. I
Interesting
think there might have
combination.
been just some miscommunications about what the voice should be. Kind of like original Derpy. They were
Yeah.
like, Tabitha thought that Derpy was supposed to be a boy, and then there was confusion, and that kind of led to the voice we got. Initially, but they're very different down the line.
Derpy didn't speak until season 3, and then she didn't speak again until season 5.
Yeah, they definitely took a break from that when all that stuff hit the fan. So I understand there was basically two places to look for her when they found out, and they went to Ponyville initially.
Well, she's a creature of habit.
Yeah, she got two places she would go in an emergency. One, her own castle in Ponyville, or two, her family. So it was a flip of the coin, and going to Ponyville also adds a nice thing to the story that you get to see, what's going on there. Yeah, it gives you an excuse for going there. It's like, oh, we thought you'd be there because that's where her castle is, and that's where a lot of her friends are, and that would be a good place to research stuff. And then, let's see. But they ended up having to go to Crystal Empire. Spike thinks it up. It's like, oh wait, no, she'd be in the Crystal Empire with her brother. At this point, Twilight has lost all her confidence, and despite what Discord would warn her against, after some cheering up and saying, we believe in you. Yeah.
She is twilighting to the extreme.
Well, it's a pretty dark time at that point.
And I'm not saying
what Discord would
not
warn her
warranted.
against. She says It can't get any worse.
Didn't
Then the Wendigos show up. And it's like the splitting the ponies.
we learn never to say that?
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's gonna
Thank
come
you,
up
Spike.
2 more times in this like it's come up 3 times in like the last like 4 episodes. Once in Big Mac Question, once here, and once in the last problem with can't get any worse sheep.
I just love
Yeah.
Rarity's face. Like, oh dear God.
And then they give her a little bit of a. They finally give her a reminder of what the magic of friendship is. It's
Yeah.
more than just friendship lasers, but those are pretty
cool.
cool. And then
Rainbow
finally we have
lasers.
a renewed
Rainbow
Twilight
lasers.
saying that we know going on about what they need to do next. And then the best line in the episode.
What are we gonna do, Twilight?
Yeah.
Same thing we do every time, Pinky. Try to save
Save
the
the
world.
world.
Reference. References.
So nice we did it twice.
Yes. As we see the Wendigos come up, we do get a quick shot of Sandbar's family as the Earth Ponies go for cover. The Pegasi and Unicorns separately raise shields and a cloud bank to resist the Wendigos. We get the nice. I've got the pep talk if we ever want to go over it, but we can probably skip that because we kind of gone over it. It's a nice pep talk, though she needs them quite often lately. But she's getting better. She has more, and the fact that he ends with Kata saying, "That sounds like the pony I used to full sit for, count us in." And then we get a really kind of dark timeline fought because Twilight tells them to keep Flurry in case things go wrong. Stay out of it. Keep her safe. She's our last hope. It's kind of a dark timeline to think about where Flurry is the last line of defense.
Well, I mean, she's the next generation, and she's the last alicorn.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, especially if
I'm not saying she's wrong. It's just a dark timeline to have to think about.
True.
Oh my God.
Mhm.
Can you imagine if Flurry Heart got Discord's powers?
Oh my God.
Ugh. That'd be terrifying.
I know.
She's already good at sowing chaos without magic.
Anyway, so while Team Twilight arrives in Ponyville, which they bounce around cities pretty quickly,
Poof! Teleport.
yeah, which brings. We'll get to that in the last problem. But anyway, while Team Twilight arrives, the Stooges debate whether to mess with the Wendigos now or later, to use them as, tools and beat down the populace with the Wendigos, or deal with them now so that they don't have to deal with the effects of the Wendigos. Which Tyrek seems to be actually the more reasonable and thought-filled of the three. I mean, that's relative. That's
He
extremely
is the
relative.
oldest.
But he's between.
He's more tactical about it.
Yeah, he's more thinking about these things. Chrysalis is like, I am the best. I am so powerful. No, she falls into the villain trap of, I am so powerful. No one can stand against me. And that's.
Yeah. I mean, Tyrek is the oldest, and when he was doing his own solo villain thing, he didn't just go rampaging right away. He waited until he was mountain-sized.
Yeah, well, he only took on the. He hit around and only took on fish he could eat.
And then made sure that Discord just laid it out for him.
Yeah.
He was a tactician first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And Cozy doesn't really get any chance to lead anything because she's a kid and they don't take her seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Except when it
Despite
comes to
the fact that she manipulated everyone into almost losing all magic.
Yeah.
Yeah. She she did prove she is a very capable leader.
Mm-hmm.
But also they don't trust her.
She
Yeah.
has that cursed hairstyle of if you see it, she's a villain.
But um, so
Me, I'm just so cute and sweet.
Why do you think she's always squishing your cheeks?
yeah.
Oh, gee.
So they go into the battle to get the bell
God.
back. Twilight forgoes what the three would expect in team comp, and Pinky, Dash, and Twilight run distraction while the others go after the bell. Only thanks to Chrysalis realizing that, wait, it's
They're
like, why do they have,
distracting.
Why do they have to be so
Why-
gosh darn annoying?
they're
They're
not
not
being
being
annoying,
annoying.
they're being
They're
distracting.
being distracting.
Yeah. You never were the fastest.
um, uh, Spike is captured as a hostage, though for some reason they just kind of toss him back. It's like,
Because they got what they wanted.
not really. They just sort of sat down. If they kept him, they could have continued using him as a hostage. Like they just like this was what we were using to try and get them to calm down and not attack. Stop fighting them.
And
And
now
then they
that they've
just sort
stopped
of
fighting,
they
their
just hand him
arrogance
right
is
back.
at their peak.
Yeah, but when they handed him right back, that was the only reason they stopped. Was that they had they had Spike, and it's
Yeah.
like, and so if you just hand him back, it's like, okay, well, game on. Go right back to what we were doing.
Right?
I
That
They
implies
see
that
what
you're
they were
using
doing?
logic.
What they were doing was trusting in the hero's code of if you say you're gonna do something, you're gonna do it.
Mm-hmm.
see, if I was Twilight, I would have just been like, "Well, Spike, you lived without wings for many years, so you'll be fine."
Yeah, that's why you're not Twilight.
You can go without wings. I'll cauterize it later.
Yeah, you'll be fine.
Anyway, so just as the
Walk
world
it off
seems
because you can't fly anymore.
yeah, just as the world seems grim, reinforcements of every species barrel over the hill.
Look to the west.
Yes.
I totally love that. I
Yeah,
think
there was some Lord of the Rings stuff thrown
I
in
love
here.
that first and
Rohirrim's-
foremost, Tempest was leading the charge.
Yes, that Rohirrim scene was just
Yeah.
So, but yeah, like I said before, towards the beginning, Twilight's long-term plan to plant the seeds of friendship far and wide has countered as a last line of defense the fear plan the Stooges have put into motion. Or students
And
brought everyone
The
together.
students
Yeah.
are the ones that convince them.
Yeah, but as a seed that Twilight planted, she planted the school. She planted the seeds of friendship in them, and with those
not just the students though, because we saw the creatures from the movie, that
Mm-hmm.
cat guy and
Abyssinian.
and the Kieran and the
exactly that never went to the school yet. Although in the next episode that we see the next generation do.
I don't remember the cat dude in it, but there's just so many characters.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I watched it
they did emphasize that there were movie characters in there.
Yeah. Well,
Anyway.
I mean, we definitely saw Tempest.
Oh yeah, I definitely saw her.
And they did
Don't
show
you mean
Capper
Fizzlepop
later
Berry
on,
Twist?
but that was in something entirely different.
Yes, we definitely got the cameo of Fizzlepop Berry Twist. With the power of friendship reaching a temporary zenith, Twilight is supercharged, and with power from all three generations of, sort of pillars, she smacks the power away from the Stooges with one almighty taste of the rainbow. And like I said, just sort of an inverse Wendigo.
Yep.
We already talked about Pinky taking Discord's magic. And she
Okay.
cuts off a monologue with a cupcake.
Yeah.
It's like, ha! Taste sugary death.
And then when
Chocolate
Celestia's
Welcome
talking
to
about, I can't even
diabetic
think of a
coma.
punishment and fitting for you. I have an idea.
Yep.
Yes.
And apparently, Discord and the sisters together can seal the three in stone.
Okay.
Well, I mean,
uh,
the sisters were able to steal him in stone by themselves.
Didn't they have the elements? That was how
They
they
did.
sealed him the first time.
They did.
They used-
Discord basically made up for what the sisters lacked without the elements.
yeah.
The
Well,
sisters had the spell, Discord had the mojo.
Well, it may
I
be
have
one of
to
those
point
things
out-
that the sisters represent order, like celestial sky order, just massive scale order, and Discord is the equivalent in chaos. And it's one of those things where if both order and chaos agree on something, it will be done.
Yeah.
So I have to point something out. Yes, she's a kid. Yes, she was really evil. They stoned a child for all eternity.
Yeah,
Well,
they did.
Don't we see somewhere like down the line? I seem to remember seeing some like maybe I'm misremembering this, but like some newspaper clippings from down the line where it's like they unstoned them and sort of deconverted them a little bit down the line. In the last episode, I seem to remember that, but I might be remembering something else.
I mean,
I
can
don't
see a
remember
picture of
that.
them as statues.
But like,
Like, where are your parents, Cozy Glow? You need a spanking.
Right?
anyway, so let's see. Twilight gets a bow from the three. You bow to no man, and says they should delay the coronation until at least the castle is restored. And then we get an Avengers type scene with Team Twilight at Donut Joe's like in Best Night Ever.
Yeah.
One last quiet moment.
Yes.
Yes.
Outside of Pinky.
The way Rarity even phrases it makes me think of Ninja Turtles 2 when they're fighting Toka and Razar, and they're like, the traditional pre-fight donut.
Oh no.
Yeah, pretty much.
I have to admit, it's kind of refreshing to see that. Oh, it's not gonna end. This episode's not gonna end with the villains being reformed and turned good. It's like, no, they're evil all the way through.
Yeah.
Which is
But-
kind of
Discord
unexpected.
tried. He spent the entire season trying to reform them, but failing.
That was refreshing. I like that.
Yeah.
But- yeah,
I
I
am
like.
so proud of Discord, and this season just proved that pride is well placed.
Yes. And then, I mean, he got his reward by getting his Fluttershy.
Yeah.
I love that. Hurry, go find Twilight and save the world and keep Fluttershy safe.
Yeah.
Oh, if something had happened to her and he got his powers back, there would be blood. There would be
There
blood.
would be
there would not
nothing
be blood.
left.
There would be absolute incineration.
No,
there
you
would
would
just
turn
be
the
nothing.
blood into chocolate milk.
Yeah.
Oh, it would
No.
not be whoever was responsible would not have a peaceful passing. Let's just leave it at that.
No. They would suffer terribly for all eternity.
Like, you saw just how scary he got with just the idea that Fluttershy was in danger at the end of season 6.
Alexa,
Yeah.
stop. Yeah.
So
If anything happened to Fluttershy, there would be hell to pay.
Yeah.
in other wigs.
Hey, yo.
That was terrible even for me.
And I think Fluttershy said it right. It's the end of an era.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or the beginning of an even more awesome one.
That remains to be seen.
Anyway, so yeah, I
Well,
like
I am
the
keeping my mind open as long as they don't go back to the old artistry. Those creepy ass ponies from Gens 1 through 3
There's
should
that.
be illegal.
There's that, and there's also, I really hope they don't dumb it down.
Yes. Well, I
I've been
mean,
hearing bad things, and I hope that those bad things are untrue.
anyway, we won't know until they decide to put it out. But
Mm-hmm.
hopefully, they've got a long time until it actually comes out. So they're probably still in. They probably haven't finalized characters or done anything of the sort. So
Mm-hmm.
there's still time for them to refine, and hopefully they listen to a lot of the people that were on Gen 4 as to, hey, get your characters right, know what they are, do this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could go two
Let them
ways.
have
Either it could go
flaws.
massively, down and just like they forget all their lessons, or it could be really good because they take the lessons they learned from all the problems that sort of the lore and such that caused for them in Friendship
I
is
don't.
Magic and get even better.
The main problem is I don't think they're going with the same world anymore because they're also changing animation studios and
Well,
licensing.
it's still the it's not so much the world I'm concerned about keeping the same world. No, I'm talking about the base the stuff that you can take between worlds, like knowing how to set up lore properly, how to set up
Yes.
characters properly,
Yes.
making sure they all have a distinct personality, goals.
it's like he's hoping that
Flaws.
we don't have a situation of 2012 Ninja Turtles to Rise of the TMNT. He doesn't want that.
Yeah.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah.
We're talking about, we want the same world. We're talking about
I want the same quality.
the same quality. Exactly.
And maybe even better because they've gotten better over the years about lore and characters and aspirations, because Rarity didn't have much of an aspiration in the beginning, but they really expanded her aspirations
The
as the
show
show
creators. Okay, so the show creators did a really good job with lore. Hasbro didn't.
Yeah.
It's the writers and all of the developers that they are leaving behind that made the show what it is.
So, yeah, I don't know. We'll see. It's just going to be a matter of seeing what they do with it. Hopefully they've taken the lessons from Gen 4 and they're going to apply them well to Gen 5. We'll see.
And for now, we face the ending of the end.
Yep.
Well, we just finished the ending of the end. Now we're on to the last problem.
I am very, very I guess I'm confused because I thought that the last one was the ending of the end because it just makes sense because it's the last episode of the season that starts with the beginning of the end.
Yeah, but
why would you not call the ending the end?
Well, because
you had the end of the series, but then this is the epilogue.
Yeah, the ending of the end kind of encapsulates the season. The last problem is a sort of.
It's the epilogue.
It's the epilogue. Yeah. It's the final. It's beyond the end.
And I get the two-parter being on the same week. I mean, that's what they've always done, but could have waited another week for the epilogue.
Yeah.
I like it. I like having it all just there, bam, bam, bam.
I think because it technically was kind of a three-parter, if you think about it, because the epilogue...
It really was.
Because the epilogue was really more of this is the aftermath of the two-parter.
Mm-hmm.
And so most of the two-parter and then the next episode, like they've done before, the next episode doesn't really deal with the two-parter.
This one, it directly talked about it.
Yeah, it's not really part of the arc. Whereas this is part of that same story, just continued.
Yeah,
So
and as an
really,
extension of
it was really a 3-parter.
as an extension of that, as a result of that, it's also this was shown in prime time. So sort of you'd have to have 2 weeks in a row where it was a prime time episode. It seems like a really much cooler idea to have. All right, we're gonna have the big Lord of the Rings finishing the big epic story, and then we're gonna have the next one. We're gonna have the epilogue as sort of the falling sign of finishing thing, and we're all gonna put that all together. We'll put it all on one night, and it's gonna be,
Epic. They
epic.
also had a documentary that I never actually got to see, but they also showed it first, and I didn't really.
I saw that, and it kind of felt validating.
I was planning on watching it. I didn't get around to watching it yet, but I did not want to watch it before the episode because I heard it has massive spoilers.
So, without going into detail as to what it was, it showed how much love they put into the show and how much they love every fan that the show got. And it just felt validating in a lot of ways.
I wanna point out something that I find funny and kind of cool at the same time.
Your face? Oh wait, no, you said kind of.
Yeah, of course. No, MLP started in October, and it has ended in October.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and only 2 days away. It started on October 10th, and it ended October 12th.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is neat.
It's come full circle.
9
Yes.
whole years.
I mean, I would have liked to have it a nice round 10, but I think they did a good job with this, and they didn't jump the shark. They didn't do any stupid crap with it.
Except in Slice of Life, in which they actually literally jumped a shark.
Yeah.
I mean figuratively.
Slice of Life was a really interesting episode.
Okay, here's some notes about the final episode. It's Fluttershy and Discord are definitely a couple.
Yeah, Fluttershy and Discord.
Oh,
I thought you said Celestia.
Well, it's okay. Here's what I'll say about the final episode. And some of these ships I hold up, but there's a lot of teasing that they don't actually express. Pinkie Pie was legitimately that was said.
Yeah.
Just
I mean,
that was
everyone
blatant. You saw them get on Gummy together.
Yes,
But
Pinkie Pie.
Not to mention Boneless 6.
Yeah,
and
they
Lil
teased the
Cheese.
crap out of Apple Dash.
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
and
no.
Mr. Shy.
No, Apple Dash is a thing.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's a no
teased.
TP for me. I even commented, it's like, I'm kind of torn. The last episode, it had my OTP and my no TP both canonized, and it's like, no, but
Well, you don't like
Yeah.
Apple Dash?
no, AJ's ace.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can believe what you want. They just share an
That's
apartment
why
together
it was a
because
tease and not a direct,
Now-
hey, they're together.
Now
Yeah.
we have to realize that Pinkie Pie has canonically had sex.
Yes.
True.
yeah, that's
That's not
Now,
surprising,
the thing-
though.
The thing about Applejack that got to me the most was what she was wearing around her neck.
Granny Smith sash.
Yes.
And Apple Bloom had Goldie Deliciouses.
So,
I didn't notice that.
Yep, she's got a pink.
and,
She's got the same thing, the pink thing with the little cameo or whatever it's called, the little thing. It's the same.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Though the color on Applejacks is a little different, but I think that they changed it because it's kind of orange on Granny Smith, and if they put that directly on her,
It's hard
it
to
would
tell.
just fade into her own coat, so it would look weird.
yeah.
but it's the same
And,
idea.
It could have just, faded over time
Yeah,
too.
absolutely. But
Yeah,
there's also the color reason.
I wanted to
Yeah.
see Ernie and Spike as a couple.
Nah.
No.
No.
I mean, they don't say it didn't happen, so I mean, they didn't mention it either
They
way. So if you
intentionally
want to
left
think
a
that,
lot vague.
Oh, let's see.
there's no
another-
wrong way to fantasize.
Yeah,
Let's
they
see, another-
intentionally left a lot vague because they want people to consider.
Continue it. They want people to continue it within the fandom.
They want writers like me to actually
Have fun with
keep
it.
it going.
Yeah,
Yeah,
carry
they-
on and leave their head canon, and it's like, we're gonna tease you, we're gonna give you guys the fan service of the most popular ones, but the rest you guys can figure out for yourselves.
Yeah, it's
Cheese
like
pie. I'm
it's
sure
like
there are people
has-
who don't like it, but who like
It's
something
like-
else better. But that's a fairly just duh sort of shit. It's like, yeah, those two kind of work together.
He
So
was literally made for her.
And let's see. Another cute couple was Yona and her boyfriend.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Sandbar.
So many
Yeah.
people that I know were like, no!
Yeah.
What is Yoda doing with Gallus's boyfriend?
oh
No, they're-
no.
Wait, who said that?
Entire communities that I have talked to.
Really?
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
they made a cute couple.
It was canon in the earlier episodes.
I
We got
know.
a whole
They were
episode
saying
about
that early, but
going-
yeah, they immediately started shipping Gallus and Sandbar.
No, Sandbar
Wow.
and Yona made cute couple.
They
Yes.
do.
I
no,
think
basically
more
they
Gallus
so
was
vague
Silverstream.
as a
It's-
kind of a way of saying, so Hasbro wants us to sell toys. Here's a whole toy box of ideas to play with.
And
yeah.
it's like Yona breaks Sandbar's pelvis lots of times.
Yes, best at snoo snoo.
I think at
Yes.
this point
No,
they
yeah.
they did
yeah.
that once, and then they realized Sandbar should be the more active participant, just so that he doesn't get injured.
But Yaks like to
And even-
smash.
Yeah. It's like Sandbar smash good like yak.
But yeah, it brings new meaning to Lemmy Smash. But
Yeah.
and even then, you see them together, but it's not necessarily. Oh, and another thing that was interesting about the ending of the end, we did get to see what Sandbar's parents look like.
Yep.
And we saw that in the heartwarming episode.
Did we?
Yeah, it showed his whole family.
Okay. But yeah,
Yona
you can.
is Verity's disciple.
But
Did
we
not
have,
expect that.
yeah, we have.
No, I believe. I mean, I could kind of see it with that dance episode.
Yeah,
'Cause-
like
She was kind of a protege there too. It's like Verity teach Yona to be prim and proper. And so,
teach Yona to be pony, so Yona can go to pony dance.
yeah, but I think it seemed to me that there was more potential there
Yeah,
because of how well she took to it,
yeah.
And
Yona
how
like
hard
crap.
she tried.
Yeah, and still, even though they showed them together, we don't. It's enough that if you want to believe that, you got it. If you don't, they were just happened to be seeing each other as friends.
I
They were
mean,
hanging out as friends, yeah.
yeah.
They
Gallus the Guard
tease
is
enough where
pretty
you can
awesome.
buy what you want out of it, but not so much that.
Yeah, but I mean, I think in MLP, if you live in the same house together, you're kind of dating.
But anyway, so getting on to the last problem as a start, as a sort of chronological start. Candelot's restored. We have the statue of the main six. So Spike visits a Celestia-fied Twilight after doing some diplomacy with the Diamond Dogs and the Abyssinians.
And
Jack
that boy
really
lifts.
Jack really liked Twilight's hair. He kept
Yeah.
commenting about how cool her hair looked.
Yep, she's all Celestia-fied at this point.
Which says that
But
this
that
is
does
way
answer
in the
Rarity's question in an earlier episode about main maintenance and stuff.
Yeah, that was in a short.
No, wasn't that in the episode where where they were first introduced to the idea of her becoming the next ruler of Equestria? Weren't they talking about they were trying to divvy up the powers, and Rainbow Dash was talking about
glowing
how
mane.
And Rainbow Dash was talking about raising the sun, raising the moon. I want to get dream walking. I just want to know how they do that name.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yes.
Well, now she can ask
Eventually they
Twilight.
figured it out.
Yeah. So apparently she took over teaching at Celestia School and gave Starlight her own school, but added a lot of friendship to the curriculum. She's worried her top student isn't getting the importance of the friendship part of the curriculum.
Sounds familiar.
Yes. Oh, and Gallus is a royal guard now.
Why do I have a feeling that student is the child of Starlight and
Sunburst? Yeah,
Sunburst.
she does look
Her
like
name
it.
is Luster Dawn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She's got a main character name. she's a description of sort of something shiny and a time of day. It's like,
and she does have the right colorations.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that. She could, and it would explain why she's their prime student.
but yeah, so Lester Dawn
confirmed.
Anyway, Lester Dawn wants to go study on her own and forget about friends. She sees them as distractions and ultimately pointless because they eventually fade. Twilight seems to rule alone to her, and so she doesn't see the point. She also has I already talked about that. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. In fact, I think it's better. Plus, if friendships ultimately fade, why even make them in the first place? Twilight, you know what, Lester Dawn? You're right. What? No, that's not right. They do fade sometimes, but, anyway. Yeah, we get Spike's what, and that was kind of...
Like going like, wait, what? What's wrong with you? It's like,
did Chrysalis get out?
You rule alone. Hello, I'm standing
right
here.
Dragon, right here. So, in the background, stained glass. There's a lot of little details in the background that's really neat in this episode. We see the Student 6 defeating a red rhino of some sort. Flurry is all grown up and charging the Crystal Heart. There isn't a chair behind her, so it probably isn't her taking the throne at this point in the future. But who knows? We get the defeat of the Stooges, and then they kept Twilight's ascension to Alicornhood. At this point, we shift from future back to present, and we get to the day of the coronation. Twilight is having problems leaving Ponyville behind. It would have been an interesting decision to move the seat of power from Canterlot to her own castle, given that the main Canterlot castle was wrecked as hard as it was. Yeah. Though I suppose logistics...
Fixed it.
Yeah, they fixed it eventually, but it would have been more interesting to sort of just fix what was left and then just move the seat of power to Ponyville so she wouldn't have to leave. It's like, it's already destroyed. Let's not put too much effort into it. I have a castle. We'll just go there. We'll set up more stuff in Ponyville, and then that'll be the seat of power because that's where all my friends are. But I guess it does have one big disadvantage is if we assume that she is now got sort of Celestia and Luna style lifespans.
No, she's definitely outlive her friends.
Yeah, she's gonna outlive her friends, and moving everything to Ponyville means eventually
Having
she's
to move it all back.
yeah, because she couldn't stay there and
Yeah. Here's what's gonna
be
happen.
reminded at every corner of her friends that are gone.
Her and Discord are gonna outlive their friends, and then they're gonna start dating.
I was just thinking. I mean, I had been thinking of poor Discord because, I mean, Twilight seems still single. She seems like, okay, I have all my friends. I love all my friends. I am the princess. I am the head honcho. But Discord is in a relationship with Fluttershy, and he is so attached to Fluttershy,
That's
Mhm.
and
gonna be rough.
Oh,
it is
poor
going to
Discord.
destroy him. And especially if you consider the fact that Fluttershy would want children. So they probably couldn't procreate, but adoption, adoption is perfect for her. And
Yeah.
helping her raise those foals and then watching them age and die too and over again would just destroy him.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of heavy things to think about with that.
Okay.
Um,
I know why we didn't see her. It's like obvious, but I would have laughed if we saw Granny Smith. It's like, you're still alive?
I mean, she was around during Ponyville's founding, so she's definitely well over 100 years old, probably several hundred years old.
It would have just been funny. It's like, wait, you're alive?
uh,
No, Granny's dead.
I know.
yeah, that was. I think that was. There's a lot of whenever something happens with the Apple family, they really lean heavy on symbolism. It's like, yeah, you know that thing you think might have happened. We're we're not going to confirm it because we can't, but we're going to
But
throw
yeah,
all
we're
the
gonna
flags we
confirm it.
can at you that this has happened.
Yeah, like just that whole scene with the the handkerchief and that the whole family and Big Mac and his kid and Sugar Belle and all the baby Winonas.
Yeah, we saw
Hmm.
baby angels and baby Winonas, which is like,
Yeah.
yeah, it's like that's their subtle
They
way of
passed
saying,
us.
yeah, we this has been long enough that those two aren't around anymore, but they did keep their
Tank had
Legacy.
better still be alive.
what?
Tank had better still be alive. He's a fucking tortoise, and he's the best pet in that whole show.
True.
It
Now,
wouldn't surprise me. It really
all of them.
wouldn't if Tink was still around. Because
Gummy's still around. Tank is still around.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tank would
Yeah,
outlive all of them.
exactly. Reptiles live longer than
yeah,
mammals.
yeah. Depending on how old he was when she got him, he might outlive Dash.
Yeah.
It's a very real possibility he could, if she
My
takes
head
good care of
canon
him.
is that Tank becomes the family pet. Like
Yes.
every generation has the same tortoise.
Yeah, until
At least for a
100 or
few
200 years down the
generations.
line, and he finally kicks off. And then it's
But
like,
leaves eggs
wow,
behind.
that's the ending of an era. The Dash family tortoise is finally Tank is finally gone, and that's and is finally up with Dash and Pony Heaven. But yeah, we don't really get for several reasons. I imagine we don't really get much in the way of knowing about the pony afterlife.
Yeah. Anyway,
But getting out of the dark here. Of course we will, but it won't be the same. They all have lives here. We're moving away, and they're not. I can't help but feel like we're leaving them behind. What if we all just drift apart? Twilight's obviously concerned. We do get a newspaper, which is kind of interesting. The Three Stooges are attracting birds in their statue form. Rara is back in the news, so her career didn't completely tank. Um, Derpy gave her recipe for muffins, or it seems that's what it looks like. Uh, Cranky is in the news for some reason, and Lyra and Bonbon got hitched.
I mean, we all saw that coming.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
So
Even
it's
before they exchanged rings.
yeah. Well, but with the proposal, it was nicely set up, and apparently it's been long enough. Well, it probably took quite a while to get the castle back in shape for the
Yeah.
coronation. Um,
Yeah.
No,
but
that was
that was long enough for them to go get hitched.
no. Cranky was in the paper because he murdered his wife.
All right,
No, it's
let's go drawing.
because they're no, it's because they're the oldest couple to ever have a child together.
I can see
Or
that.
it turns out they're actually not that old. Just Cranky's really cantankerous.
Hmm.
But he spent so long searching for her.
Just ask Steven.
Yeah.
He doesn't refer to him as a young Burrow. Oh, I just love that old Burrow.
So all the main six are trying. They try to raise her spirits in different ways. It's just seasons change. Fashions change. You should be. I'm sure you're excited about this, and pretend like it doesn't worry them, or just plain bury themselves in the work for the coronation. Twilight gets depressed that no one else seems concerned about it, and then
The impossible happens.
well, then we get
Applejack. Sorry.
yeah. I suppose it gave us something else to focus on, Applejack. I know knew you were worried about everything changing. I guess I thought if I made it seem like everything was okay, it would be. Fluttershy, I was just trying to make you feel better. The way I wouldn't feel that way, I wouldn't feel so terrible. Twilight, before I moved to Ponyville, I didn't really know what friendship was. You've all taught me so much. I can't believe it all might be ending, but when I imagine the future, all I can think about is that we won't be together. I'm literally moving away from you, and it's terrifying. And Fluttershy, I'm scared too. Pinky, me too. Ready, wrapped to the core. And then we get AJ saying, yup. And then Dash being Dash. I wouldn't say scared. And then just because I won't say it doesn't mean I don't feel it.
And then the impossible happens. Applejack cries on the outside.
She does that a lot in the last couple episodes because she cried at her brother's wedding, and now she's
I
cried
mean,
here.
that's liquid pride. That's not. That's
Yeah,
totally
that's-
not
Okay,
crying. That's
totally different.
liquid
Yeah, I
pride.
forgot
Yeah,
about that.
that's liquid pride.
Yeah. But they all have a good cry, but Spike warns her about missing their train. And this is what I was going to talk about earlier. Seems like she could port herself to Canterlot if she wanted, given that she ported all of them to Canterlot during the Sombra attack. Or, more reasonably, they could have staged everything in Canterlot the day before, gotten the applesauce, all that stuff done a day or so before, gotten them all up there, passed out, so she could spend a day with them in Canterlot before the big day instead of leaving everything to the day of. But I suppose that wouldn't be quite so dramatic, darling.
Drama.
No, you see, the apple part, I understand because she wants everything super fresh. And it probably took a lot longer to collect enough stuff for all those new guests. So she had to probably quadruple what they already had planned to set up.
Yeah.
So
Let's just say they could have used the super seat.
They were probably working nonstop since the announcement of the extra guests.
Let's just say they probably could have used the super speedy cider squeezy 6000.
Yeah, and Rarity, she explained hers with, it's a last minute addition, darling, but it will be fantastic.
Yeah, but still, all these things.
Absolutely
I don't think a
fabulous.
day makes they.
No, she just thought of it though. That was the thing.
Well, that's not what I'm about to talk about. It was the thought that it doesn't say that they couldn't have all been in Canterlot already. Like, I know you're saying, she had to work to the last minute to get the stuff, but they're in control of, and it's been a long time since the to rebuild an entire castle would take a while, and so they would have had plenty of time to start storing up apples and all this sort of stuff, because it's not like apples go bad immediately. They have means of storing apples. But
I mean, to be fair, they built a school in the span of a scene transition.
yeah,
True.
so having them all be in, though I understand it lowers the drama. It doesn't, you know, it puts them in Canterlot instead of Ponyville, so that's not quite as nice. It's not quite as feelsy. Um, she's not in her. You don't see her moving out of her castle. We don't have them. We could still have the moment of them, you know, talking about it, but it's yeah. I understand why they did it the way they did it, but it's sort of in universe. It's kind of a
Yeah,
funny thing. It's the way they did
the
it.
whole idea is impact.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I understand why they did it from a narrative, from a storytelling perspective. I absolutely understand why they did it the way they did, but from like an in-universe like logistics sort of idea, like it's like this makes no sense. Why didn't you just, And they said, was it at the beginning of, well, heck, at the beginning of the ending of the end, they had the sisters were already cleaning out their suites for Spike and
Yeah.
Twilight.
I think Twilight, and for her part, she was postponing it intentionally, hence the triple, quadruple checks, because she didn't want to go. She was, tenanting this shit.
Yeah.
So I think as far as, saving that to the last minute, she was doing that on purpose because she really didn't want to leave.
Yeah. So anyway, so they're rushing out the door. Starlight gets run over as they rush to the train station. But here's where the thing, even within assuming all the things that they tell us, the timeline doesn't quite make sense. Okay, for at least on the Apple front. Okay, if she was going to go over the packing list with Mac, that means the Goods and Big Mac were both still in Ponyville. It's going to take him longer to haul the cart than her taking the train.
That is true.
She should be able to beat him there unless he's being teleported somehow. They got Naysay to help move the goods. Even so, you'd think
You
he
just
could
kind of walk up, Starlight, you mind helping out?
Will help.
Or just poking her and like, need me to teleport you? Yup.
Yeah. He could just crack the crates a little and immediately know that he has the right crate to the right customer. It's like,
yeah.
If you had the right amount of stuff to begin with, even if it got smudged, I think this is the applesauce crate. Crack. Yep, that's the applesauce crate. Here you go.
Yeah, that one, especially considering what happened with the Hearts and Hooves Day thing, you'd think you'd learn to check.
Or to at least wait for your ink to dry.
Yes.
Admittedly, I have drank applesauce from a glass.
Who hasn't?
Applesauce is very drinkable.
It is.
It does
It is a
require a
sauce, after
slight
all.
bit of chewing, but not much.
Not
Not
at all.
even
I just
fast.
fall
Depends
off.
on how smooth how coarse your applesauce is.
True.
True.
But yeah, so she just like it would take all of about 10 seconds for him to go. If he's gonna be cracking it open anyway, just go. Yep, that's what I need.
Exactly. It was the same. It was the day of, so obviously they were going to. They were going to open it immediately.
Yeah.
So of course he could just be like, "Here, let me help you with that."
Yeah.
Oh, oops, that's the wrong one.
Sorry, wrong one. I'll go grab the applesauce one. Sorry about that. And then they crack that one. Yep, there's the applesauce. I'll take this one back and drop it off where it needs to go.
Exactly. So that, logistically speaking, I was thinking the same thing. I'm like, dude, you should have learned your lesson with Hearts and Hooves Day. Let the ink dry.
Yeah. Also, a fun little thing in the background. Rumble seems to be apprenticing in the Canterlot kitchen. You saw Rumble was stirring a pot in the background, and Gordon
Huh.
Ramsay, I guess, was in the back
Maybe
also.
he's
Going-
called Rumble because he makes stomachs rumble.
I I don't know, but it was at least a little cult that looked like Rumble, and
Yeah.
that's kind of fun with the way Marks and Recreation ended with his brother stirring that pot of food, and he figured out his passion is food, and so this is where he's apprenticing. Anyway,
And even if it's not your special talent, it doesn't mean you can't enjoy it.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe your special talent isn't something that is monetizable. It's a hobby, and
Case in point, Pinky.
Yes. No,
well, parties are monetizable because you
Yes.
Oh, okay.
you can pay
What
a
I
party
mean
planner.
is like parties are her talent, but she has a passion for baking.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so Dash takes off to meet the Bolts, and Fluttershy goes to handle the food for the performers, only finding a carrot. Twilight quickly has the nerve to say it couldn't get any worse and is stopped by sheep on the tracks. Are they sentient? Is this protest? Yeah. Is this a protest? How sentient are these sheep?
Yeah, that's the thing with anthropomorphized animals. Where does one draw the line?
Yeah, where do they stop being
Sentient versus like
Instinctive.
exactly like
when are they
the
just
pigs. Why would in that episode, the spa episode, why would she have pet pigs unless they're garbage disposals or they eat bacon?
well, she does have a dog.
And they have and Opal is a pet cat, yet they have Capper, who is a cat.
Yes,
A
they're
sentient
obligate
cat.
carnivores. How does that work? Yeah. Let's see where I was like. Okay. Twilight has. Okay. So yeah. Anyway. So we get some. I did a lot of. This took me probably the better part of the time it took me to review the last problem. Was noting who was in the crowd, and I will tell you this much:
Every creature.
all of Twilight's old friends that she lists from Amending Fences, all of them make the coronation. I thought at first that Lyra and Bonbon hadn't, but they did show up later in another crowd scene, and it kind of made me think. When I first thought that they weren't there, I thought they're gone because they're on their honeymoon, and that would have been a funny way of explaining it. But they did show up, and so apparently they're honeymooning in Canterlot, assuming that it's right on
Or
the
they
heels of
postponed their honeymoon. You don't always have to take the honeymoon
yeah, but
right after.
this is fiction. They can do it right then anyway. So
Yeah.
notable figures in the crowd. We get Student 6, the Cakes, Maud Briar, her parents, Twilight's parents, Capper, Prince Rutherford and some yaks, Tempest Shadow, Fizzlepopberry Twist, Ember, the dragon from Dragonshy, Minuet, Twinkleshine, Lemonhearts, the family heads of the Hooffields and McColts, Zakora, Gilda, Thorax, Pharynx, Dusty Page as the librarian, Sassy Saddles, Rarity's manager of the Canterlot Boutique, Time Turner and Roseluck were holding hooves, Skybeak, Silverstream's dad, Moon Dancer, The Pillars, Cattail, Mage Meadowbrook's descendant, Shining Armor and family, and Discord. Did I say Derpy? I think I said Derpy.
I don't hear Derpy.
Okay, well there was
You
Derpy.
didn't say Derpy.
Yeah.
Okay,
I
she
mean,
was there.
I know I saw Derpy, but I didn't hear you say
I mean, of
it.
course she'd be there. She was the hero of the movie.
She's the one who saved Twilight in the first place.
She saves Equestria. But anyway, so of course Twilight trips on her way to the balcony.
And falls over.
Yes.
I
Sorry.
would have loved to hear Derpy just one last time. I don't know what went wrong.
Crash.
Or she was in charge of delivering stuff. And That would have been. That would
Now
have,
that would have been a reasonable way to fuck it up.
yeah.
Yes.
Have Derpy do it,
Um,
especially since she's probably a bit jealous of Roseluck.
Yeah.
the Dr. Derpy. Anyway, so the sisters unite their crowns to form one for Twilight. The spiders that spun her sash interfere with the choreography as they accidentally got carried away with the sash. Luna tries to warn them, but it doesn't work out, and she falls off the balcony trying to catch the crown. Still managed to recover in time, though she isn't so
It
graceful.
was close enough.
Yeah, she isn't so graceful. AJ does to. It's like to Twilight. It's like just to try and sort of break the tension. Oh come on, my thing jumped. I accidentally tapped something. Okay. So we get a second crowd shot with Burn Oak, A.K. Yearling, Zephyr Breeze, Babseed, Quibble Pants, and his new family, assuming that they got married, or at least the one he's with at the moment. We get Tree Hugger, Cranky, and Matilda. We also get Gabby, Lyra Bond, the immediate Apple Clan, including Sugar Belle. So we get Big Mac, Apple Bloom, Granny Smith, Sugar Belle. And she has her necklace.
Of course.
Starlight, Trixie, who is not impressed by the applesauce.
Yeah, I love that expression. That. Ew.
we get Starburst
Cheers.
and Autumn Blaze.
Yes.
Yes. So then we cut back. So complete mess of a coronation, but now we're cutting back to the future. The rest of the crew arrives. Pinky has Little Cheese and Boneless Six in tow, with an even poofier hairdo. Now, if her happiness is directly correlated with how big her hair is, she is a very happy pony.
Mhm.
Well, I mean,
When you are the child of Pinkie Pie and Cheese Sandwich, happiness is a constant.
Well, Pinky herself, I mean, just
yeah,
that
I
was
yeah.
ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I thought, Dex.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I mean, she might have just been visiting, having some time with Cheese.
Yeah, might have been having some
Cheese
personal
knows
time.
how to satisfy.
He
He
knows
knows
how
how
to
to
fill
party.
her up.
God, I'm just imagining between those two. A lot of streamers.
More confetti than you would expect.
Yeah.
But not so much as to be dangerous.
You want to see the Cheese Supreme Cannonball surprise?
No.
Well, you know, they do say cheese can be pretty filling.
Well, at least once.
We'll have to ask Pinky on that one.
Anyway, Rarity has a gray stripe in her hair. Either fashion or age has done it. The others don't seem to be graying noticeably.
How can you really
Rainbow's
tell
basically
with Rainbow
Spitfire
Dash?
Mark II.
What?
I mean, with Rainbow Dash, what color would go first?
Well, they would all their colors would be a little more faded. They wouldn't be quite so bright. And some of the reds might be, starting to whiten a little bit. All their colors would start to fade a little bit. And they might be a little darker or a little lighter, depending on which way you want to go with it.
She shows her age in her face.
Yeah,
Well, they all kind of did. Like everybody but Twilight has the aged face.
A little bit of a wrinkle in their face.
Yeah. But it seems
even Fluttershy.
Yeah. But Rarity seems to have a gray stripe in her hair. Rarity apparently, I would have been here sooner, but you would not believe how busy Yakakistan is these days, especially given that she said she wanted to start up, stuff for stores for non-ponies.
Mm-hmm.
We get a little ship teasing with Dash and Applejack. Maybe we get
Yeah,
to
that's
places on
definitely.
time if you let me do some of the chores instead of always doing everything yourself. Applejack, maybe if I would if you did them the right way. Oh, sorry, we're not the last ones, are we? And of course, Applejack is wearing Granny Smith's scarf, and
Yeah.
Dash has Spitfire's hairdo. So
And uh, and then we get Fluttershy and Discord dropping her off with her little box to lunch.
yeah. Oh, and another thing that's interesting, I wonder, you know, from what it looks like, she is. I wonder if she's either the captain now, and that's what her outfit is. She's the captain, and that's what she wears. It's why she went with the Spitfire do, or if she's gone past. She was captain for a while, and now she's retired from being a Wonderbolt, and that's sort of the sort of retired Wonderbolt sort of jacket.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah,
jacket
I
you get
think
on.
it's more of a retired thing because if you notice, her jacket was different from the rest of them when she was flying with them.
Yeah, but it might have just been a ground service jacket, and then they're in full uniform. She's just in a ground sort of jacket,
Mm-hmm.
and not kind of an semi off duty, not currently flying sort of
And
situation. And she
don't
wasn't
forget,
when they started the episode.
don't forget, Discord had to go to his O&O convention.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Which, that's another thing. He has to go to an O&Go convention, yet he still drops everything to go teleport Fluttershy around when she asks him to.
That is
Yeah.
so sweet.
which it also makes me wonder if is Discord capable of age magic?
He probably is.
But would Fluttershy let him?
Yeah, that's the other side of that.
Yeah, I don't know if she would.
Yeah. Uh, and so they're all there, and
Their friendship is stronger than ever.
yeah, Lester. I just assumed that since you aren't together all the time now, Twilight, that we aren't friends. Starlight and the group, we got back to the coronation, and Starlight and the group all pitched in to create a memory book for Twilight with moving images.
Harry
Twilight
Potter.
establishes a
Prince.
once a moon meeting.
The Council of Friendship.
Yeah. And so we get a last little thing.
One last musical number.
Yeah, well, I was going to a little discussion between Lester and Twilight. So even though everything changed and you moved away from your friends, you didn't grow apart. And this is the Council of Friendship. That's what you're all doing here. Rainbow Dash, duh. That this time every moon. Applejack, what she means is this is how we've been ruling together. And Rarity, and how we've continued to face every problem and threat to Equestria over the years. Pinkie Pie, but mostly it's how we keep in touch, no matter how busy life gets. Twilight, sometimes friendships can be hard, and it takes work to maintain them, but without friends, things can be a lot harder. Lester, I never thought about friendship being something to work at, and I don't mind work. If they don't have to fade away, maybe making friends isn't the waste of time I thought. But I've been so focused on my studies, I wouldn't know where to start. And Twilight, that's alright, because I know exactly where to send you. Huh. And then we get a great final song, some cameos we see. Silver Spoon, Diamond Tiara, Twist. Lyra Bon and Derpy
Twist
are all...
looks awful, okay? She looks really creepy.
Yeah, she didn't age well.
No, I'm just like, what the hell is that?
Derpy are all in the squares. Cake twins are all grown up and are at the store. We don't know if they're running it and their parents are retired or what's going on. Gummy has gotten big enough that Pinky Cheese and Little Cheese can all ride him. The Student 6 save Yona and Sandbar, which we see at Boutique. Trixie and the Crusaders are all working at the school.
Well, we knew Trixie would be working at the school. Her girlfriend works there.
Well, depends on, whether she's with is she with Sunburst?
I
Is she
would
with
think she's with Sunburst.
Yeah.
given
Okay.
Luster Dawn?
Even
But
They
if
were
she's with
literally made for each other.
Sunburst,
well, it could be polyamory. It could be
Oh yeah, definitely.
it could be a
we know. Okay, Trixie would totally be poly. First of all, and
more
she's
ponies to
totally
love
bi.
Trixie. Yeah, it could be a three-way sort of situation where she loves Starlight, Starlight loves her, and Sunburst loves her, and Starlight loves Sunburst, and they just sort of they all kind of get together over that. Apple Bloom again has Goldie's scarf around her neck. Scoot's wings never grew.
Which
Sugar
is
Mac
stupid.
had a little purple. Well, no, I think that's Scoot's wings never growing. It's like, no, she still had to fight with it. It's sometimes things don't go the way you want them to.
It's
So
the
that's
one thing with the show that I blatantly disagree with.
I like it. I think it's fine.
If bulk biceps can fly, then so can Scootaloo.
It is a little inconsistent in that way, but maybe there's some other structural failure that
It's because her dad's an earth pony.
and that's not the
Sticking
case
with the
because
mud
we see
hooves.
plenty of hybrid families that don't have that issue.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
but anyway.
But who's to say she can't fly and she just chooses not to?
It's too much effort. It's not worth the effort.
She tried it and she realized, okay, this is what all the hype's about.
I mean, at least you can still cloud walk and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway, Sugar Mac had a little purple earth pony colt who has a hard to decipher markings. I couldn't really tell what it was.
It looks like an apple cupcake.
Maybe. It wouldn't surprise me. So, yeah, we talked about Yona and Sambar leaving Carousel Boutique together. We do get to see Winona and Angel's descendants.
Yep.
It was a really nice song. At the end, we finishes with I used to wonder what friendship could be, followed by them at a sunset. And then Lester running off to start her story of friendship. And the book closing that we started with.
I like that they now have all the other races going to the School of Friendship. Before it had a handful of them. It had, we saw a few of the Griffins and the Changelings, but I mean they're going back to the movie and pulling out other races from there too, like
Abyssinians.
And they even had what were the one with the Kieran and those sorts of things. And we get all of those in there too. And I thought that was a nice little nod to the continuity as a whole.
Yeah, we're going to throw everything.
This is like the biggest fan service outside of an anime you could get.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is a shout out to end all shout outs. This is Slice of Life 2.
Full disclosure, I was a blubbering idiot by the time those credits were rolling.
Yeah, you can't really help but at least be a little misty-eyed when she's singing I used to wonder what friendship could be at the end of the song. And just like at that point, they've rolled so many feels up on you again and again that if you're not just a little bit misty-eyed at that point,
you don't have a heart.
Or, what are you doing?
My mom, who doesn't even know the names of the characters. I mean, she knows a couple of them. She recognizes Maud Pie, obviously, because of Jack. But she's not a huge Brony fan. She knows a little bit about it. She understands the concept. She's not really big in the continuity. Even she was crying by the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was some, call me biased as you will, but I also really like, when Applejack gets to sing in that last song, she goes big.
Yeah.
Like it's full, like oh, sort of singing. It's like oh, okay. Uh,
She's
it's
always had the loud, kind of belting it out kind of voice.
but yeah, and it's kind of funny considering that Dash and Applejack have the same actress, and you get sort of Dash's singing and you get Applejack singing, and they're a little bit different. Of course, that may
Yeah.
be on purpose in order to sort of disguise the fact that it's the same person,
Oh, definitely.
and it might be a little
That's
hard to
one reason
sing.
why
And
Rainbow is her very highest register, and Applejack kind of got a lot lower.
to give them some separation, so they don't.
Plus,
It
one is
doesn't.
punk rock and the other is country.
Yeah. Anyway,
Uh,
but
one thing I want to add, like going back to the end episodes, is I'm kind of surprised that the now broken kind of Tree of Harmony didn't come into play, as in creepy Twilight Sparkle didn't come into play.
well, I think they basically had sort of when they made the treehouse, they sort of said, okay, well, that's
We've
us
done what
putting
we
a
want to.
capstone on that. They
And
don't
it's like
really.
that's it. That'll sell toys. Okay, we're done with the tree.
The
Yeah.
basis of what season 9 was is it provided closure to a lot of arcs. It gave each character some end cap episodes, and it built up to a big finale.
Mm-hmm. It
And then,
basically, yeah.
oh my god, it delivered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was one of those ones where it was like, I don't know, there's some things at the beginning that of Last Problem that it's like her having the whole discussion about uh you know being worried about leaving town. Maybe you could have done that a little differently, but it was fine. But when we got into like talking about you know continuity and sort of putting caps on characters and saying what's going on with them, just like they went all out. But they did it in a way that you can still believe what you want. If you want to believe, other than Pinky, who has a canonical, she has
She's
a
a mom.
kid. She's a mom. She's married and has a kid. Hers was actually sort of written down and set in stone that yes, she ended up with cheese, but I think there's way more cheese pie shippers than there's any other Pinkie Pie shipper
Oh,
in
yeah.
there.
Yeah.
I would think so. I'm
I
sure
mean,
that
there was back right around when cheese came into play. I was role playing with somebody, and they were a huge shipper of Pinkie Pie with their OC. But then they saw cheese sandwich, and they're like, "Okay, this kills me, but no, cheese pie is canon."
Yeah.
yeah, well, it's just so perfect.
It is. He literally
It
was
was
Made
made for
for
her.
her.
Yeah, and they're gonna. That's gonna be. That would be hell to live next to. Not because they'd be fighting, because there would be constant cannon fire. Especially, I just have this brief little snip in my head of they're on their honeymoon and they're engaged in amorous activities, and they're very excited at that point, and then you hear a a party cannon sort of poof, and you say, "Oh yeah,
Yes.
that's the
Yeah.
stuff."
And then there's Weird Al's little message, I stole your waifu.
Not
Yes.
mine.
Somebody posted that in a group chat for Winnie for the Winnie City chat and the spoilers, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's just perfect.
It's funny. The comic I sent is actually a few years old.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the picture could have been a older. But they posted that after the series finale aired. They posted, "Sorry, I stole your waifu."
Yeah, and he even made a, you know, and he even made a comment on his Twitter. It's like, okay, you've heard people talking about me having, relations with a horse. Here's the explanation for people who are wondering what the heck is going on.
Oh, I bet he enjoyed the hell out of that.
It's like, yes, I'm technically a horse over here, and yes,
He
there
loved
was.
being cheese sandwiched too.
Well, I'm sure it was a blast because he got to be himself.
Yeah.
It's like, just have fun. That was all those episodes were about. Was, he
We
had a
now
little
have-
stiffness on on that one episode, the last episode with him losing his laugh. Yeah, last laugh. He had to be a little stiff for that, but afterwards he could go completely
Well, I
bananas.
mean, we think he must have been a little stiff somewhere between those
I
season
mean,
finale.
anytime he looks at Pinkie Pie,
He gets a little stiff.
All right.
but he's always happy to see her.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Do we have any last thoughts on this? Do you have any more thoughts on this as a whole?
I'm still processing.
Yeah.
Like
I can't believe it's over.
Yep. this is a show that has gotten me opportunities, friends, and something that I haven't stopped working on for the past 2 years for even a day.
It is really the reason why I have some of the friends I do.
Exactly.
Like, if it weren't for Ponies, I wouldn't have gotten into voice acting. I mean, I'm not really into it anymore. But if it weren't for Ponies to begin with, I wouldn't have gotten into it at all because it was a pony project that I first tried my hand at.
I'd been interested in voiceover before, but then I got told about this pony project and was like, I'm open-minded. And suddenly I'm playing a unicorn.
Yeah, it's safe to say without it, I don't think this group is having this conversation.
Exactly.
On this day. Well, obviously, this particular conversation, we're having, is talking today. Like, we wouldn't know each other.
Yeah, because the only reason I made that post on the MLP forums was because MLP existed.
Exactly.
I mean, and the strength of the community is unfathomable because, like, just recently
really is a brotherhood, an accepting community.
Just recently, someone posted on FimFiction that they were about to end it all. And the entire site, myself and several others that I talked to included, rallied together to make sure that that person is still alive today. And yes, they're still talking on their Discord server.
Yeah, and even though there might be some of those toxic fans, it's still good.
It's all about real friendship and
acceptance and treating everybody as equals with respect, and
that extends sorry, go ahead.
And not judging people based on arbitrary things like
And that extends so far past the initial target audience. The developers picked up on that and ran with it and loved it.
And they have such deep concepts and stories to it that it really was open for everybody.
And I just hope that the next generation is able to pick up on that and keep going.
Yeah, and when I can, I'm going to buy the rest of the seasons on DVD, and then I'm just going to binge watch the whole entire thing.
I'm pretty sure pretty soon I'm going to be watching it from the beginning on Netflix again.
Yeah,
it's good writing material, and I just need it.
especially if we're going to be talking about our favorite episodes, because
Oh,
I need a serious refresher.
I already got a few in mind.
Well, I have
Just-
one that's
just for
already
this-
on my top 5 that I just have to find the other 4. Right.
Well,
And
I
you
mean,
probably
I
have a
already
pretty
know my
good guess as
top
to what it
one.
is, but um,
Besides, of course, these don't really count as you can't really
Wow.
list these.
I
Yeah.
gotta say, this review did really take up the whole stream.
It
and
did.
then some.
It did. I think that was the whole plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is
I
there
couldn't not be here for this.
Yeah.
It's too big.
Any final?
That's what she said.
It is.
While we're wrapping up, any final ideas before we wrap up? Considering we're way over time.
No, let me just say, it's been amazing from start to ending. It's sad to see the end of an era, but it was also fun. So,
I mean, I said my spiel.
Yep.
But when it comes to ideas for future streams, why not go to the fanfic community and review some of their stuff? Fanfiction is a pretty big site.
We do sometimes do fanfic reads.
That works.
Like
We could
we
do more of those.
We do reads
Yeah.
of the fanfics.
Yeah, our best stuff is usually either Tumblr blogs or fictions. Like our
Okay.
reviews don't actually get that much attention.
yeah, they're fun to
They're,
do.
Well
they're
then,
more for us. They're more for us
keep me
having
posted.
fun.
I want in.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll probably start that back up probably next week.
Okay.
Not next week, but the week
Next
after.
week is top 5 episodes.
Well,
Well,
I mean, after that,
maybe-
it's not going to take you the entire time
I
for
mean,
5 episodes.
the top 5 episodes thing is a good idea, but with being 5 episodes, maybe like wait the week after, like give it some more time.
Okay.
Well, how about this?
Yep.
If we all come in and we've all found our 5 episodes, we do it.
Then we can.
If
Okay.
somebody needs another week, we wait.
Let's make sure to write notes on these episodes and why they are our favorites.
Well, if they're your favorites, you probably can do it off the top of your head.
Yeah.
I work better with a script.
Well, then go ahead and do that. Like I have my notes, but like a lot of what I'm saying, like I'll read from my notes, but like a lot of what we're talking about is that's the basis, and then I talk about other things. But yeah, I think, and we'll probably have some overlap. I wouldn't be surprised if like a few of mine or we share a few.
Yeah, but speaking of streaming though, stream the week after next is Halloween. So yes, no.
Nightmare Night.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, why not?
You can pick up some
And-
stuff that's spooky.
Yeah,
One
we can
spoiler
make up
alert.
A scary fanfic.
One spoiler alert: most of my top 5 episodes are going to have music and lumbers in them.
That's not
a
surprising.
surprise. That's really not a surprise.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's wrap up the stream, and we'll see you next week.
Oh, yeah. It's gonna be good times.